Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. In this video, I'm going to be looking at some MLB Prizepicks props that I want to share with you guys today. Let's go ahead and get started. As always, if you enjoy the videos, appreciate it with the like button, subscribe if you have not already. Yesterday's picks went 2-1. Could have had the sweep if Rob Thompson let Eflin throw another inning. He finished with 4. We needed 5, and that not letting Eflin throw more cost them the game because they pulled him after 7, where he only had 80 pitches, and the bullpen came in and blew the game. So they had an 8-4 lead, and then Familia, former Met, came in, just absolutely gave up a 3-run bomb to Jacob Stallings, and he hasn't hit a home run since opening day, so that's just how it went. So that was annoying, but we hit the over Ks on Dylan Cease and the over Ks on Chris Bassett. He pitched an absolute gem. Got some more props today I want to share with you guys, so let's go ahead and get started. First prop is going to be one that's hit 92% of the time this year. I don't know why it's at 6.5 right now, but that's going to be the over strikeouts on Shane McClanahan. He is in the mix for Cy Young in the American League. He's pitched that well this year. We take a look at the numbers for him. Currently, should be like a minus 141 based on the odds here at 6.5, just based on Sportsbook's lines. This year, he has hit it in every single game except for one, where he finished with 5 strikeouts against Seattle. And if we look at the amount of pitches that he's thrown, he started off the season throwing in the low 80s, getting in the mid 80s to the 90s, and last handful of games, last 6 games, he's thrown over 90 pitches in all of them. So you got to really like Shane McClanahan here. If we look at the matchup here, you got a lot of strikeout success for him. He has struck out Judge 3 times in 10 at-bats, struck out Torres a couple times, struck out Stanton twice in 6 at-bats, 40% K rate for Rizzo against him, 66% for Higashioka, Joey Gallo. So just a great spot for Shane McClanahan, and he just gives you absolute electric stuff that he can get you double-digit strikeouts as well, and we only need 7 strikeouts. If we take a look at, over here on Roto Grinders, we can take a look at the lineup that he's expected to face and how often they strike out. So this one is on the road, so it's definitely a ballpark downgrade, but in terms of the lineup, you can look to strike out Judge, Stanton, Donaldson will strike out a good amount, Hicks, the catcher will strike out, and even though he's going to see a good amount, a couple of lefties here, maybe not a ton, but a lot of righties. Well, McClanahan has done a great job of striking out righties and lefties at a very similar rate, 29.5% K rate against righties, lefties 29.1, and the ISO is lower a little bit, WOBA is lower, so he's actually been better against righties than lefties, so that's also a great sign for him to hit his over 6.5 Ks. The second strikeout prop I'm going to go with is going to be Corbin Burnes, another superstar that's at least a superstar in terms of striking out, and the winner of the Cy Young last year for the National League. He's pitched a little bit poorly this year. He's still been pitching fine, but it's just been that sometimes he's not able to go deep into games. It's been back-to-back starts where he hasn't been able to make it out of the fourth or fifth, out of the 5th inning. He only had 4.3 innings against the Phillies, and the game before that he only threw 3.6 innings because he was working up the pitch count. But he's still a guy that gives you opportunities to get you over 100 pitches. Right from the second start of the season, he was throwing 97 pitches, so they have no fear about limiting him a little bit, at least early on, and then he's just absolutely cruised since then in terms of the pitch count. Even if he's not pitching great, he's still going to look to rack up the strikeouts. In limited innings against the Phillies, he still put up 8 Ks. He had 6 Ks against the Padres in just over 3 innings, and then we know he gives you that double-digit strikeout upside as well. So this year, the projected odds would be about minus 200 since he's hit this 67% of the time, 8 of his 12 starts. And if we look back to last year as well, this number he's hit 68% of the time. He's hit it 28 out of 41 times. And the matchup against the Mets, taking a look at it, it is a pretty good ballpark to pitch in. It's upgrade from his home ballpark, so hopefully he's able to pitch a little bit deeper and not work into too many just give up too many base runners. But he has a 37% K rate, or 4.7% K rate. A lot of lefties here, but also same thing with McClanahan. He's good against both sides of the plate. 34% K rate against lefties and righties. He has a 35% K rate. Other numbers are pretty similar. He just doesn't give that many home runs. 0.808 ISO against lefties, 0.096 against righties, and he throws his fastball cutter a ton, almost 60% to lefties and 46% to righties. And if we look at how often the Mets hitters have success against that pitch, it's not too often, especially their better hitters. Alonso, the .033 ISO, and same thing for Lindor is a .045 ISO, and Escobar, a .081. So Really, really poor numbers against the most popular pitch for Corbin Burns, and this is another guy that could hit this in a couple of innings, and it won't be much of a sweat. Same thing with McClanahan. And then the next prop I'm going to give you guys is going to be a no-run first inning, and this one might not last too long because I expect it to be popular. I could see Prizepicks take it off the board, but I'm going under 0.5 runs in this Yankees-Tampa Bay game. If we look here, we can compare how often it's hit this year and what the implied total or an implied probability is. This one has the highest 75% hit rate for the Nerfy. In terms of McClanahan on the road, he's hit this 3 in all 3 of his starts on the road. Overall, it's been 10-2 for him. And then for Cortez, overall record for him has been 10-1. So we're looking at about a minus 150 implied. On Sportsbook, 75.5% of the time it should hit. You also have one here in Oakland, but I don't know. I have much better confidence in the 2 superstar pitchers, 2 of the guys that are in the race for Cy Young in the American League. And if you look at the total here, this game has the lowest total by far, 3.8 total for the Yankees and 3.3 for the Rays. So hopefully we're getting a pitching duel, which I do expect, and just give me the under half a run in the first inning. So that's what I got for you guys. 3 props. Now we'll see when they post the pitching outs. One is also one that I do like, but it's been a little bit annoying that they haven't had that out along with all the other ones right out of the gate. I guess people have been having a lot of success against them, so they want people to mess around with other props instead. But these 2 are definitely my favorite strikeout props. Other ones that have hit a decent amount have been this Contreras from Pittsburgh, but Cardinals don't strike out too much. But I still think he could get you 5Ks. Barrios, I like his pitching outs over his strikeouts. If it's at like 16, if it's at like 18, because he's cleared that last few. Even last game he pitched. Went into a rain delay and he came back and he pitched as well. And then I don't have much interest taking the overs on any of those guys at the bottom here. Gallen's pitched well this year, but the strikeouts haven't always been there in all the games. But in general, these are the 3 that I really like. McClanahan over 6.5 Ks, Corbin Burns over 6.5 Ks, and then we're taking the Nerfy and the Yankees-Rays game. Best of luck. If you have any questions of different props, post them down below in the comments, and I will answer them as soon as I can. And I will see you all next time.